Hi, my name is Missy, and I'm going to show you one thing regarding making kombucha that I wish I would have learned a long time before I did, and that was because I used to brew my tea for my kombucha, and I waited hours and hours and hours for my tea to cool down to be able to put my brew together, my batch together. So I'm just going to show you really fast and how simple it is to do a tea concentrate, which saves you many hours from having to wait for your tea to cool down and to pour it into your batch. Okay, so the way that I do it is I simply start with 2 cups, and I only use spring water with my kombucha because I don't trust anything else that's in any other kind of water. So you see I have 2 cups there, my stainless steel pot and my stainless steel spoon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour my 2 cups of water in here into my pot. And then I'm going to turn this up, and I'm going to hurry up and unwrap my tea bags. And I'm actually using oolong tea right here. I really love oolong tea. I don't know how many of you have tried oolong, but it's a very light and it's a very light tasting. Okay, so I've got all my tea bags unwrapped. This is 8 tea bags, and this is enough for a gallon. So I've got 2 cups of water in here. I'm going to turn that up a little bit, and I'm going to watch for little bubbles on the bottom, a little on the side. I don't ever bring my water to a complete full boil, because what it does basically by completely boiling is you're losing your oxygen, and it makes your water flat, and flat water makes flat kombucha. So we never boil completely. So it's gonna start getting, I'm seeing some little bitty bubbles, but we're not near there yet. And while we're doing that, I'm going to hold my tea bags up and get them ready, because as soon as I take this off of the heat, the tea bags go in and I steep for 10 minutes. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but the bottom is bubbling, making some noise. The steam's increasing. Okay, so if you can see that right there, those bubbles right there, that's about as much of a boil as I am gonna do, because I don't want my tea to be flat. I don't want my kombucha to be flat. So I'm gonna place my 8 tea bags in here, which is gonna make my gallon of tea. And then I'm going to steep it. So I'm going to do this, put these in here. I'm going to cover it, and then I'm going to steep it for 10 minutes. Okay, so this is my Island Girl kombucha, and basically I've had this SCOBY sitting in here for a few days to help get the starter a little stronger. Now what happened was this film developed across the top, and so I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to take out my Island Girl SCOBY, and then I'm going to make sure that because that film developed across the top, that I still have enough starter. So I need 4 cups. Okay, so here's 2 cups. Okay, and so here's my 2 cups, my first 2 cups of starter. And I'm going to pour it in here, an extra jar, and set that there. And then I'm going to just dump this whole vessel into here to make sure that I have a total of 4 cups. For 2 gallons, I need 4 cups. Okay, and look, there is perfectly, because it was just a film. It wasn't in there long enough. Okay, so I have my 4 cups of starter. So I'm going to dump it back in my vessel. Oh, and it's nice, and see the fizz in there? The bubbles in there. That's a good sign that it's good, strong starter. I'm going to place my SCOBY back in here, and this is the tea. The tea that I'm making is for this, the tea concentrate that I'm doing. So no need, so I'm glad that I didn't have to take any starter out of my hotel. Okay, so you can see on the clock we have 2 minutes left out of our 10 minutes that the tea is steeping for. So in that last 2 minutes, what I'm going to do to be prepared is I'm going to pour my sugar in the 1 cup. I use pure cane sugar. Which is one of the best recommended sugars to use for kombucha. Pure cane. So I'm just going to make sure that this is level. So I don't want my brew to be too sweet or not sweet enough. Okay, so 1 minute left on the clock. And basically, in case you're wondering what this sugar does in the tea for the SCOBY, is the sugar is food. The sugar is the SCOBY's food. The sugar that goes into a kombucha brew is not for us. It is for the SCOBY. So, the 10-minute steeping time is up. I'm going to pull my 8 tea bags out because we're making tea concentrate for a gallon. And I actually have to do this again after this because it's a 2-gallon vessel. And I'm just going to let it sit there for a couple seconds. And then I'm going to let it drip. Never squeeze the tea bags. Okay, so I'm putting in my 1 cup of sugar. And that's pure cane sugar. And I'm going to stir this in while this tea concentrate is still really hot. And then it's not going to dissolve all the way because there's just simply not enough water yet. So now we're going to add a total of 11 more cups of water. So now that I've got my 1 cup of sugar in my 2 cups of water that brewed and steeped for 10 minutes with the 8 tea bags, I'm going to add 11 more cups of spring water. So there's 2. And this is the 11th cup right here of my spring water. Okay, we're gonna pour that in, and we're gonna stir to make sure that there's no sugar sitting on the bottom of the pot, because we need all that sugar to go in our brew, as it is the SCOBY's food. Okay, so I really don't feel, you can kind of feel it if it's on the bottom, you feel, you can feel the grainy feeling. So it feels like it's all mixed up pretty good. I don't feel any sugar sitting on the bottom. Okay, and so now, this right here is cool. And it's ready to go straight into my brew. It took all of about, 13 minutes besides the 10-minute brewing time. This is and it's ready. 13 cups total of spring water. And what it does is it feeds this little girl, which is my Island Girl SCOBY. So, since we did the tea concentrate, there's no cooling time. And so, I can just put the tea right in there. And of course, I will be doing another batch because it's a 2-gallon vessel. But when I do that, after I get my second batch of tea done, just like this one, I will cover it back with my cloth and my rubber band, and I will scoot it back into its place, and I don't disturb it. Okay, so I thought it would be really neat for you guys to see what's going on with my Tibetan SCOBY while I have my other tea concentrate batch going. Basically, if you can see right in here, the bubbles, they're moving. You see them moving? There's bubbles all the way around. Right here, these bubbles show the fermentation and the activity that's going on in the vessel. It might not look like there's a lot going on in there, but there's a lot of work going on in the vessel, and that's why we don't disturb them. So that's the 11th cup of my second gallon of tea concentrate, because I'm filling a 2-gallon vessel. No sugar on the bottom that we added with our very first 2 cups of water. It's cool. No cooling time to wait. Putting it straight in the vessel. Ooh. Okay, and so now I can see the SCOBY, and there she is right there. She's happy. She's got food. So, put my rubber band on, and that's to keep out any fruit flies or anything in the air that you don't want to get in your brew that could contaminate it. And I put it right there, and I leave it, and it does not get touched until it is done. So this is the first video that I've done, and we just finished doing and learning how to do a tea concentrate, which, as I said, I wish that I would have known a long time ago after I started brewing, because I used to wait for hours for my tea to cool. So with this being the first episode, there's many more to come because there's so much to learn about kombucha, and you just keep learning as you go. And so feel free to drop a comment and like and subscribe. We're going to be covering all aspects of kombucha, utensils to use, products to use, the difference between heirloom SCOBYs and commercial made SCOBYs, and we will be covering how to bottle, how to do second ferments. We will be covering all aspects of it. Like I said, you keep learning as you go. So if it is something that can't wait, you can also go to our Facebook group, which is called Kombucha Life and Ferments, and there's all kinds of members on there that are very supportive members on there that are on their very first brew to people that have been brewing for years.